The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Wednesday, August 13th, have Victor retaliating against Cain, Nick losing his cool with Billy, and Jack receiving an unexpected invitation. Victor Newman never forgets when people he cares about have been wronged. The mogul is not happy that Philip Chance, Chancellor of 4, lost his life at Chain's chateau after Carter went off the deep end. On Wednesday's show, watch for Victor to retaliate against Cain, whom he holds responsible for the actions of his late robotic employee. Victor's not going to sit around and wait for Cain to execute his grand scheme to take over all the businesses in Genoa City. Victor will make the first move, which may catch Cain off guard and show him who's boss. There's no one nicer in Genoa City than Nick Newman. He's laid back and cool, but even Nick has his limits. On Wednesday's show, watch for Nick to lose his cool with Billy. While they're not related by marriage anymore, Nick is the uncle to Billy and Victoria's children. We've seen Billy ally himself with Cain, who wants to control the Newmans. Nick may not want to be a business mogul like his father, but one thing he does have in common with his dear old dad is that he defends his family. If Nick sees Billy as a threat to the Newman clan, then Nick will take action. The last time Jack received a mysterious invitation, he and Diane traveled to France and spent weeks on Dumas's estate. That didn't go so well. So, it'd be understandable if Jack balks at the unexpected invitation he's going to receive on Wednesday's episode. However, just because it's unexpected doesn't mean it's going to be mysterious. Recently, Jack told Nikki that he would not ally himself with Victor, but perhaps Victor is the person who's going to reach out to Jack. Tune in to find out who contacts the Scapegoat executive. Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Cain's return story has been a hard sell, particularly for long-time Young and Restless viewers who aren't buying the backstory, but also for those who have picked out a plethora of plot holes along the way. Be sure to vote at the end and let us know if we missed any as we run down the top 10. Believing that Cain Ashby, a bartender and grifter from Down Under, who job-hopped continuously, rose to the level of Victor Newman in 6 years, is a stretch. Of course, as soap fans, we're used to suspending disbelief to a certain extent, but this pushes the limits. Of course, part of the explanation for Ashby's meteoric rise is that he had help, which brings us to our next point of contention. Supposedly, Cain's father, Colin Atkinson, taught him how to build an empire to rival Victor Newman's in just 6 years using legal means. The problem? Colin was never that good at anything from what we know. He was a failed mob boss who once was chased down by a mob of angry cattle ranchers and spent most of his time being caught out whilst trying to scam people. To suggest that Colin possessed this untapped font of knowledge and never bothered to use it to enrich himself is approaching the impossible. The whole premise behind Chance being brought to the chateau and ultimately losing his life was that Cain believed someone was trying to kill him. If everything he did was legit and legal, and no one in Genoa City knew what he was up to yet, who was out to get him? It leaves quite the hole in the plot, and in Chance's death, to leave this key point unexplained and sweep it under the rug. We can understand Cain wanting to take Chancellor back from Victor and give it to Lily after the way she was duped out of the CEO position there and told she belonged at Winters. But why does he need to have Scapegoat, Newman Enterprises, and all of the real estate in Genoa City? We have no inkling of his true motives, and as time drags on, we care less and less about this latest business story. We're supposed to believe that Cain is a mastermind who rose to Victor's level in 6 years and has a grand plan to take over all of Genoa City, and yet he's still recruiting? Instead of executing a cunning scheme with pre-planning and precision, everything's hinging on him taking chances on the likes of Phyllis and Billy. Cain begged Lily to listen to his explanation in France, and she demanded answers from him repeatedly. But somehow, even after Damien dying, they've still never sat down for a conversation. One would think that by now, he'd have come clean about why he's done all of this. Explain, if you can, the logic behind Cain thinking that lying for 6 years would help him convince Lily that he's not a lying liar. If he's as smart as we're to believe, he might have thought this one through a little better. Maybe he'd have realized that deceiving her and his children for more than half a decade would hurt his chances with her. Young and Restless has landed in a bit of a tough spot now that Cain and Lily look as nearly as young as their adult children supposedly are. Will they keep them off screen or bring them back and push the envelope of believability even more? Speaking of Cain's kids, where is his youngest son, Sam? The child would be about 7 years old and should be with his dad, but his name hasn't even been mentioned since Cain's return. Are we to forget that entire storyline ever existed? Jill does irrational anger like no one else, so why is she fine with Cain getting Chance killed? This unbelievable plot point isn't directly to do with Cain, but instead with the battle lines being drawn in Genoa City. If Cain's as big a threat to the Newmans as they think, and they believe Billy is working with him, why isn't Adam following Victor's orders to unleash on them both? The answer? He's waiting for Chelsea to give her approval. Please. Not only does it not make sense that Chelsea is running the show over at Newman Media, but if we're to believe that Adam will one day follow in his father's footsteps, they're going to have to give him back some semblance of his ruthlessness. Victor would never. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Claire Newman and Kyle Abbott's bedroom reconnection may be derailed. Will Audra Charles score a win when Claire pumps the brakes on Kyle behind closed doors? Kyle was stuck in France without any way to contact Claire for what felt like forever. Meanwhile, Claire was devastated by the loss of Cole Howard, and even now, she's trying to figure out what life without her dad looks like. Of course, Kyle and Claire have also had to deal with all this Audra drama, so they seemingly haven't had a bedroom reunion since he got back from Nice. There's a good chance Kyle hasn't wanted to pressure Claire, considering everything that she's been through. However, Y&R spoilers suggest Claire and Kyle will want to take that sizzling step sooner or later. Once Kyle and Claire finally get some alone time, they may try to get intimate and reconnect after all the chaos. Kyle may view this as a chance to get Claire away from Audra and drown out all the noise. Perhaps Kyle will think this is the perfect opportunity to show Claire how much he loves her and put Audra out of her mind. Unfortunately, there could be a problem if Audra has successfully managed to get inside Claire's head. It's easy to see Claire thinking back to everything Audra said about Kyle wanting her instead. Claire may freak out in the middle of her bedroom reunion with Kyle and ultimately tell him to stop. This might even be a good time for Claire to ask some tough questions about what really happened in Audra's sleeping car. Claire might shut down her own hot session with Kyle and start asking exactly how far things went with Audra. Will Kyle admit to making out with Audra and ending up on top of her in bed while he was half naked? Regardless, Kyle and Claire's bedroom reconnection may not go well thanks to the doubts Audra's planted. That could bring a win for Audra if she tears Claire and Kyle apart, but it may be short-lived if Claire moves forward with blowing up Audra and Nate Hastings' relationship. Jack and Victor have had enough of Cain. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, August 13th allow Nick to speak for all of us when he goes off on Billy for being Billy. Billy went to France to meet with Aristotle Dumas. When he found out Dumas was Cain, Billy thought, "Yay, now he will give me Chancellor Enterprises because reasons." When Dumas declined to do that, Billy kept pushing and pushing, promising Cain that he'll help him take down Victor, as part of the bargain. That is, until Cain revealed he planned to stick it to the Abbotts, too. Now, Billy is confused and rudderless, but he keeps talking, so much nonsense. The rest of us have to listen to him as long as he's on screen. But Nick is on screen with him, and he really doesn't want to hear anything his former brother-in-law has to say. We're right there with him. Cain has put his cards on the table. He wants Chancellor Industries, he wants Newman Enterprises, and he wants Scapegoat. Now, who will give in to him first? We're pretty sure it won't be Victor, who has a brand new, shiny plan to make it clear to Cain that Genoa City is Victor's town, and Cain isn't welcome, not even for a visit. At the same time, Jack got the heads up from Billy about Cain's plans, one of the few decent things Billy has done in ever, and he's coming up with his own defense. But will that change when Jack gets a surprise offer to join forces from the last person he expects? Will this be the answer Jack has been searching for, or another complication to deal with? The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Phyllis Summers could get arrested after Cain Ashby's plan goes wrong. Will Phyllis become the scapegoat and land in a jail cell as a result? Phyllis has been desperate for a path forward, especially after all the chaos she endured while in captivity at the clinic. Martin Laurent put Phyllis through a ton of trauma that she still hasn't truly dealt with yet. Instead, Phyllis is throwing herself into Cain's latest mission and setting herself up for trouble. In Y&R's August 12th episode, Daniel Romalotti Jr. certainly sounded the alarm over Cain's insane plot for Genoa City domination. Daniel warned Phyllis to get out now before Cain drags her into a mess that'll make her a target. As far as Daniel's concerned, Phyllis is playing with fire and is going to get burned like never before. Daniel may have the right idea when it comes to Phyllis needing to cut ties with Cain and find another business venture. However, Phyllis is the kind of gal who digs her heels in and never listens to rational advice. That's why Phyllis will move full speed ahead with this Cain alliance and presumably hack all the companies he's after. Cain is counting on Phyllis to put her talents to good use, but it could lead to problems if she commits crimes for him and gets caught. It's easy to imagine Phyllis getting arrested once all this blows up in her face. Phyllis may get busted and land behind bars, especially if Cain tries to make her the scapegoat of his grand plan. Cain might try to keep his own hands clean and make it seem like Phyllis was the one who took it upon herself to play dirty. If Cain betrays Phyllis like that, Amanda Sinclair might have to decide whether she'll support her boss or ditch him to help Phyllis instead. Regardless, the Young and the Restless spoilers say Cain will make some updates to his scheme along the way, so don't miss the shocking news and bold moves ahead. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that, for the most part, Nick Newman is a good guy. The character does have a temper, but he has a strong moral code. However, could Nick turn a sinister direction? Keep reading, and let's talk about what could happen next. Nick has been through a lot the past few years. In addition to playing romantic roulette, he has been there multiple times for all the crises that affect his loved ones. Jordan, Ian Ward, Claire Grace Newman, Sharon Newman, Phyllis Summers, and of course, Cain Ashby. The 3 deaths at Cain's party in Nice really get Nick riled up, though. 2 of those deaths are people that Nick knew, Chance Chancellor and Damian Cain. It would be one thing if a Cain just stayed in Nice after the party ended. Instead, he decided to move back to Genoa City. The tycoon even had a train delivered to the town. Apparently, he has a replica on every continent. Lily Winters is already horrified by Cain coming to Genoa City. They haven't even had Chance or Damian's memorial services yet. Nick will also be furious that Cain is back. During a confrontation with Billy Abbott, Nick loses his temper. Of course, Nick doesn't know the full story and Billy's attempt to protect Jabot. Fans know that Billy is trying to save his family's company. It's hard enough for Jack Abbott to put his full faith in Billy, but they don't really have another choice right now. With Victor Newman plotting, he could rope Nick into his schemes. Normally, he would turn to Adam Newman for dirty business, but he hasn't been too cooperative lately. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Nick's temper could finally blow. Nick could unleash his wrath on Cain if he makes one more move. If Sharon just happens to see, that could delay any romantic reconnection. Getting angry is one thing, but undiluted rage is something else. With Sharon seeing a new side to Nick, that doesn't mean it's positive. It could be downright catastrophic for Schick. Will Billy end up being the hero, and could Nick turn into a villain? Will Nick end up going too far to stop Cain? The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Cain Ashby is a whodunit magnet. First, there were 3 unfortunate incidents at his estate in Nice, France, and now there looks to be another one brewing in GC. Will this be the time that Cain himself is injured? Let's unpack what lies ahead, Y&R fans. Cain invited half of GC to his chateau, where nothing but mayhem ensued. 3 people died, and another was seriously injured. Based on his unsettling behavior, Cain was warned to stay far away from Genoa City. He didn't listen, and now is in the line of fire as he tries to build a life among the people he endangered. Citizen Cain envisions himself as a mogul and is buying GC properties in a bid to outduel Victor Newman, the town's OG. Understandably, Cain is enemy number 1 around town, so he's got a target on his back. Everyone at the Nice vacation, plus their loved ones, have motivation to teach Cain a lesson. Will this result in a whodunit with Cain as the victim? It would be more surprising if Cain skated free and clear from all the dirty tricks he pulled on his guests. It's more likely that someone goes after him, and it could even be someone not related to the party, but with a vendetta nonetheless. After all, Cain was away for years, doing who knows what, so it's safe to assume he has made enemies given his diabolical way of conducting business. Tell us, Y&R fans, who do you think has a good motive to go after Cain? Lily Winters, Holden Novak, and Amy Lewis are good candidates for payback. The Newmans and the Abbotts were also snookered, so if something untoward happens to Cain, they would be reasonable suspects as well. Then there is the threatening person Cain believed was after him in France. Might they come out of the woodwork to get the job done? Tell us what you think, Y&R fans. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with the young and the restless right now. Come back here often for the hottest Y&R updates, news, and spoilers. Get comfortable and gain access to the best soap intel on the web. The Young and the Restless spoilers tease that Phyllis Summers is playing with fire via her alliance with Cain Ashby. She ultimately betrays Cain, but does she do so for Nick Newman or Jack Abbott? Phyllis desperately wants to partner with Cain on his Genoa City escapades, but her motives are suspect. Phyllis is capable of a lot of things, but would she really sell her soul to enrich Cain, a person who has hurt the people close to her? Phyllis is loyal, even though it gets her into trouble at times. Do you think that she is playing Cain with an agenda to ruin him from the inside out? Red herself recently pointed out that no one gets the best of her and gets away with it, and we suspect she has plans to turn on Cain the first chance she gets. Phyllis has done something similar before with Tucker McCall. There was a point in time when Phyllis double-crossed him for the Abbotts, and it seems like she may have pulled out her old playbook. But Phyllis also has Nick's back. It's not hard to imagine that she envisions herself as an avenging angel for her ex, who was maimed while on Cain's misguided vacation adventure in the south of France. Phyllis and Nick are parents to Summer Newman, and it's hard to imagine she would endanger her relationship with her daughter for a business deal. Then again, Nick might sweeten the pot and tell Phyllis he'll give her a job if she rats out Cain. He could even throw in a job for her son, Daniel Romalotti. Explosive. The Young and the Restless spoilers say that Cain will have to keep his wits about him in the coming days and weeks as he prepares for world domination. What part do you think that Phyllis will play in his shenanigans? Be sure to catch up on everything happening with the Young and the Restless right now. Come back here often for the hottest Y&R updates, news, and spoilers. Get comfortable and gain access to the best soap intel on the web. She's playing with fire. Audra wants her eye on the prize. Last year it was Glissade. This year it's Vibrante. Similar beauty business, same man behind it. Victor would have gifted her Vibrante had she succeeded at seducing Kyle. Unfortunately, that did not happen. So Audra is getting desperate, and she doesn't care who she hurts on the Young and the Restless. She already proved that she's willing to sabotage her relationship. Audra hasn't been concerned about Nate ever since she came home from Nice. In fact, in Nice, she wasn't even thinking about him. She locked lips with Kyle after Damien was found dead. That's a strange reaction to the murder of your boyfriend's half-brother, but she has a lust for power and sex. Let's also remember that Audra wasn't the one who informed Nate about Damien's death. That was Lily, who called him as soon as they got cell phone service back. Audra dragged her feet a little longer. She also hasn't acted like she's missed Nate while she was away. She still has her claws into Kyle. Now, Audra is pulling a page from her self-sabotage book. She's willing to throw away a good thing just so she can destroy Kyle's relationship with Claire. And what good will this do? She already lost out on Vibrante. Yet, she's still obsessed with breaking up Clare and Kyle. Even though Victor has gotten bored with her, Audra's still keeping a huge secret from her boyfriend. He has no idea what Victor hired her to do. Also, she doesn't care if anyone sees her kiss Kyle in public. On the Monday, August 11th episode of Y&R, Audra grabbed Kyle and kissed him in front of Claire. What would she do if Nate were to walk in on them? This proves that Audra doesn't care about her relationship. Nate is just another man in her life. She treats him like an obstacle to her success. But it also has us wondering if Audra is hot under the collar for Kyle and bothered by the fact that he's unbothered by her. Do you think Nate deserves better? Or do you think this is karma? Let us know in the comments section below. The good news is that the Young and the Restless star Melissa Claire Egan, who plays Chelsea, may have a child prodigy on her hands when it comes to music. The bad news is that the song her son has composed the music and lyrics to doesn't necessarily paint Egan as the good person we all know her to be. Has it been a really long Monday for anyone else? The actress rhetorically asked in her reel that has her son, Caden, who is almost 4, performing. Caden can be heard off-screen, playing a musical instrument and singing, "Mommy is bad." Yep, that's what he's singing. "Mommy is bad." The hilarious video shows a close-up of a smiling Egan as the Young and the Restless actress patiently listens to her son singing, "Mommy is bad." For approximately 90 seconds, "Mommy is bad," Egan mouths towards the end of the clip, just in case you hadn't heard. The comments section, filled with responses from Egan's pals, who are fellow moms, reveal that Egan's experience is not uncommon and is also very relatable. "The joy of having boys," Ma, wrote Crystal Khalil, who has 2 sons. Amelia Heinley, who also has 2 sons, shared, "Ha!" Another mom, Carla Mosley Bundy, wrote, "Oh girl, do I overstand?" Jen Lely posted, "Oh, the joys of motherhood. Love you." A year ago, on the occasion of Caden turning 3, the Young and the Restless star wrote on Instagram, "Your baby boy is 3 today. Caden Katrasar, you bring the greatest joy we could ever imagine. You love leaf blowers, dancing, swimming, baseball, and still lots of guitar. I know you won't read this for a while because I won't let you have IG till you're 40. But we love you so very much. Happy birthday, my baby." Follower at Diana Linden queried, "So I'm wondering, who got him the drums? LOL. Egan responded, "Me," with a smiley face. "Ah, the joy of motherhood," added Diva329, "coming from the mother of a now 45-year-old son. Nonetheless, I still remember days like this. It'll be okay. Promise. Wait until they tell you to go to your room," chuckled at Paulette Goulet. "That's the best gift. Rhythm's pretty good," noted at Hofdal7. "Very catchy. Get used to it till after the teens. Just know we all love you, and at some point, this too shall pass." The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for Tuesday, August 12th, 25. Fans can expect Kyle Abbott to deal with chaos. Meanwhile, Audra Charles scrambles to cover up her true actions with Nate Hastings. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Once Claire Grace Newman sees Audra with her lips planted on Kyle, she will erupt in a jealous rage. Once the blonde interrupts the smooching pair, she will demand answers. This comes right after Claire's concerning talk with Victoria Newman, in which she wondered who to believe, Kyle or Audra. Once Claire enters the scene, Kyle will likely shove Audra away. The young man will insist that Audra is up to her old tricks again, and he didn't initiate or ask for it. As for Audra, she would just rub it in Claire's face that Kyle wants her. I could see Claire claiming to believe Kyle publicly, but privately, she could wonder if Audra is telling the truth. Claire does take some kind of action, but not against Kyle. The blonde takes matters into her own hands. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, August 12th, reveal that Audra will scramble to cover up with Nate. It sounds like Claire taking matters into her own hands could mean telling Nate about Audra's claims. That will force Audra to do some scrambling to cover up the truth. How she will do this convincingly, I'm not sure. Remember, Nate was really kind to both Claire and Victoria Newman after Cole Howard's death. So if Audra claims that Claire is lying, then Nate will wonder what the purpose would be. It could have him wondering why Audra is acting so oddly. Over with Phyllis Summers, she makes a confession. The redhead tells Daniel Romalotti Jr. about her partnership with Cain Ashby. While Phyllis is ready to go full steam ahead, Daniel could sense trouble. Despite the man's insistence, Phyllis is hard-headed. See, once she decides to do something, there is no stopping her. As for Cain, what will be his next move now that he's back in Genoa City? There ought to be some more twists and turns with the revamped and recast character, so stay tuned. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Tuesday, August 12th, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 3 weeks, August 11th to August 29th. Hint that Cain Ashby will reject Victor Newman's plan while Kyle Abbott works on a romantic fix-it and Sharon Newman sees red flags. During the week of August 11 to 15, Claire Newman will decide she's done letting Audra Charles cause so much drama. After spying Audra's kiss with Kyle, Claire will have a bold response. Audra has been playing with fire and just might get burned soon enough. Claire could be the one to make sure Nate Hastings knows exactly what his girlfriend's been up to, so Audra may have a tough time explaining herself. Between Audra's kisses with Kyle and the fact that she was part of Victor's romantic destruction plot, there'll be multiple reasons for Nate to lash out if he gets updates. Over with Lily Winters, she'll stun Holden Novak with the news that Damian Cain was killed on the France trip. Holden will also dupe Lily into thinking he had no idea Cain was Aristotle Dumas, so she'll make it clear that Cain isn't trustworthy and push Holden to be careful. In the meantime, Cain will most likely turn down Victor's proposal about joining forces against the Abbotts. Victor will cook up a Cain revenge plot instead, and will eventually recruit Nick Newman to be part of it. Nick will also have a major outburst that puts Billy Abbott on the receiving end of his wrath. Billy had better get used to all the backlash if he's going to align with Cain, though he'll really just be pretending for the sake of protecting Jabot. As for Jack Abbott, he'll react to an intriguing invitation. Hissine may summon Jack for a business meeting, but he'll eventually turn his attention to Lily Winters, and a significant promise. Since Cain still believes he belongs with Lily, he may vow to do whatever it takes to make her see that too. Since Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti have a wedding coming up, they're going to need some help. Christine will turn to Lauren Fenmore Baldwin and could potentially lock in her matron of honor. As for Danny, he might get Daniel Romalotti Jr.'s promise that he'll fulfill best man duties. Daniel will also talk to Danny about his romantic interest in Tessa Porter and how complex the situation is. Across town, it looks like Sharon may see some warning signs when it comes to Nick's behavior. Will Sharon worry about Victor pulling Nick to the sinister side? Y&R spoilers say the week of August 1822 will bring some risky plans for the Newmans, but Victor will count on emerging victorious against Cain in the end. As Lily plays Cain and tries to score intel, her mission could prove more difficult than expected. Lily's true feelings for Cain could get in the way of her goals and remind her of all the love they used to share. Next, Kyle may have his work cut out for him when it comes to convincing Claire to trust him again after all the Audra mayhem. Once Kyle does damage control and perhaps pulls off a grand gesture, Claire will have to decide if they can get past everything that's gone down. During the week of August 25-29, Billy's inside man scheme could get tricky. What happens if Cain figures out what Billy's up to? Or worse, what if he convinces Billy to betray Jack and his own family business? Jack will try to trust Billy, but there's the potential for disaster here. That said, Jack will ultimately make time for romance since Diane Jenkins Abbott will want to make up for their derailed honeymoon plans. As for Mariah Copeland and the memories that are haunting her, she may face some new struggles too. Could Mariah eventually spot Daniel making a romantic play for Tessa and wonder if her wife's moving on? Regardless, the Young and the Restless spoilers say some important developments are coming up in the next 3 weeks, so stay tuned.